But we have a very exciting night planned for everyone. So thank you everyone for being here. As we let folks join us, I just want to briefly overview our agenda, and then we'll get started in just a couple of minutes. So tonight, what's on our agenda, as always, we'll start with welcomes. So just welcoming everyone and having a grounding activity led by our healing committee. Then we'll talk about some updates at Initiate Justice in general. We'll go over our committee updates. So you'll get to hear from every single one of our action committees, as well as upcoming events. So committee meetings, healing circles, you'll get to hear about all of that. And then our main event tonight is centered around the movement to end life without the possibility of parole. So the DropLWOP Coalition will be joining us for an exciting presentation, as well as a panel discussion afterwards. So definitely make sure that you stay on for that, and that's starting at about 7:15. But if you want to grab something to eat, grab something to drink, please do so now. We'll get started in just a moment. And then also during our committee updates, you'll hear from our advocacy committee. So you'll get to hear updates on our existing bill campaigns and where they are and what's going on if you haven't already, been following the legislature for today. So that's our agenda. Daisy, anything that I'm missing before we get started?
No, I think I can kick it off if that's all right with folks as folks continue to come in the room. Thanks, Antoinette, for all those housekeeping rules. And again, just reminding folks that are just coming in that the meeting is being recorded as we do upload these on our YouTube channel. And there is live transcription or closed captioning that's available. So if you go to your settings on your Zoom, it should allow you to be able to turn that on. But we just wanted to say hi to everybody. Welcome. Thank you for joining us for our member meeting. It's so good to see a lot of familiar faces, and always a pleasure to see people joining us with their Initiate Justice gear. I always like seeing people tuning in with their t-shirts, their Institute of Impacted Leaders shirts. Taina's rocking the Abolitionist and I Can Vote shirt. So just love seeing all of that. And also folks that are here and bringing their loved ones in through the creativity of Zoom backgrounds. I see Brashani bringing in her loved one through her LWOP background. So just wanted to acknowledge the folks that are being brought into the space with us, and we'll be thinking of them as we continue with our program tonight. So thank you all for that. But yeah, so thank you so much for joining us tonight. It is September and we are 1 month closer to the end of the year. Where did the year go? We have survived an extremely busy year. You're going to be hearing tonight from our policy committee as far as updates on our bills, with some exciting news today on updates on some of the legislation that we've been working on. But I'll save that for that portion of it. But I just wanted to again welcome anybody who's new to our meeting tonight. If it's your first time, hopefully you'll be hearing a lot of updates that you think are relevant for you to continue to stay tuned into our work. And we'll be talking about the various ways that you can continue to get involved with Initiate Justice as we continue with tonight's program. But with that being said, I'm actually going to turn it over to our healing committee that is going to conduct a grounding exercise with us tonight. So Indigo and Rashida, I pass it over to you.
What's up, IJ fam? It is so good to see everybody in their swag, in their bag, in different places. I'm reporting from Jersey. It's thunderstorming like crazy out here, and I feel like bringing some cleansing energy as we start this meeting. And specifically, I wanted to dedicate this meditation, this moment, to an IJ member that we have lost named Tolliver. And I want to take a moment of silence for him and all of us who are grieving him. His life was taken recently, and any time a life is taken, it does something to our entire communities, and it's very hard to live with constant reminders of violence in our communities and the impacts that that has on us. So definitely want to extend love to everyone here who knew Teddy, and dedicate this meditation to him. So everyone could take a position where you're comfortable. Let's start this meditation by breathing in generously. Letting your belly be round. And letting your exhale be long and drawn out. Feel free to plant your feet gently on the floor. And we'll take an upright posture while staying comfortable where you're seated. Breathe in. And on your exhale, allow your eyes to soften or close. Breathing throughout this meditation at your own pace. And should you find your thoughts drifting, just gently bring them back to the breath. Breathing in here. Out. Taking the next few moments to acknowledge an IJ member who has recently transitioned, Teddy Tolliver, endearingly remembered as Teddy Jam to those who knew him best. Staying with your breath. We as a community grieve this loss while remembering and celebrating his lighthearted spirit and very giving smile. Breathe in. Notice how your body might feel in the chair you're sitting in. Notice any tightness or soreness in the body. Notice where you might be holding grief in your body. Take a breath in. Maybe you can feel sensations or tightness in the heart, in the chest. Maybe you feel it in your throat. Or maybe you feel it elsewhere in your body. Take a deep breath in. And on your exhale, relax your shoulders and allow your forehead to fully relax. Teddy was someone who involved himself in community as a means to bring forth healing and change. And we are here tonight in order to make a positive change, in order to make a way for freedom. As you breathe in generously, deeply, and slowly allow yourself to release that breath. I want you to think about a light, a small fire. Notice how that fire interacts. It is your light, it's your energy. Just observe it. Observe how it moves or how it stays still. When we lose a freedom fighter in this fight, a little bit of their light enters each and every one of us. And so breathe in here, allowing the generosity and the efforts that Teddy put forth in his life to reinforce your effort, to reinforce your spirit, to help you on this grieving process. And in this process, as we fight for freedom, I want you to take 3 deep breaths with the question, how then will we serve? How then will we choose to live in community, in our bodies? What is your intention for living as full a life as you can? Breathing in. Let's start by taking in this breath and calling to mind an image that brings you peace, or maybe something that makes you smile or motivates you. It can be a person, place, or a thing. Bring that image to mind. Notice how you feel. Notice how that image makes you feel. And on our last breath together, I want us to deeply breathe in all the love experienced in that feeling, in that memory, in that image. And slowly exhale that breath, knowing that you're safe to continue your process in this community, and knowing that you are worthy to take a couple of moments to acknowledge your breath, to acknowledge where you are, and to honor the lives and the lives lost that we surround ourselves with. I'm so grateful for each and every one of you. And thank you all so much for taking some time to breathe together in honor of Teddy. Thank you, fam. Just let us know how you're feeling in the chat after taking some time to breathe all together. Ashe.
Thank you so much, Indigo. And as folks begin to come back, yeah, if you just want to share in the chat what that was like, how you feel after that meditation. We appreciate Indigo and Rashida, who you'll hear from again a little bit later, just for reminding us to take care of ourselves and reminding us to pay attention to our own healing needs. So thank you. So I'm just going to cover a couple of quick organizational updates, what's going on at IJ. And I actually have some exciting updates to share. So first and foremost, I want to recognize a couple of people who were newly added to our Initiate Justice staff. So with all of the hard work and dedication of all of our volunteers and all of our existing staff, IJ is expanding rapidly. So we have several new staff members. So I want to take a moment to acknowledge Adam Kane, former inside organizer, now outside organizer, and now IJ staff, and he is one of our inside program associates. So Adam, thank you for joining us here at Initiate Justice. And then also another one of our inside program associates just graduated, Efrain Ortiz. Efrain, if you are here, thank you so much for joining our team as another one of our inside program associates. You'll hear from our inside organizing and inside membership team like on the exciting updates and how fast our inside program is expanding. And you'll understand why we've added both Adam and Efrain as inside program associates. We've also added Sarah. Sarah was our policy fellow and is now full-time staff as our policy coordinator here at Initiate Justice. So if you go to Abolition Corner, if you go to the advocacy policy office hours and you know Sarah, you probably love Sarah as the rest of us do. And so Sarah is now officially our policy coordinator here at Initiate Justice. And then someone else who I don't believe joined us this evening is our new student intern from USC. Dellen has joined our policy team, and she's also going to be helping with various areas of Initiate Justice. So we're super excited for all of the growth to come, all the development to come here at Initiate Justice. So like round of applause, welcomes in the chat, please, for our new staff members here at IJ. And then just a reminder, again, Initiate Justice hires directly from within our organizing base, as you can see. And we also maintain a leadership and a team of directly impacted staff members. So just want to highlight that once again for those who might be joining us for the first time. Our board of directors directly impacted. We even have someone from who's currently incarcerated, as well as our staff members are all directly impacted by incarceration in one way or another. So super excited for our new staff members. And then with that, something else super exciting. So some of you might know, might not know, some of you have been with us from the very beginning, such as Adam, but Initiate Justice is turning 5, y'all. Our 5th birthday is coming up September 20th. IJ has rocked for 5 years. Thank you, Taina, our executive director, for creating and developing such an amazing organization that has not only stayed and thrived for the past 5 years, but has continued to grow consistently for 5 years. So with that, there are 2 things. As always, you know, here at Initiate Justice, we're always pushing to do better, to do more. And so we have a challenge. And that challenge is how many people we can get to help Initiate Justice celebrate our 5th birthday. And there's a couple of ways that you can do that. So one, in the chat, I'm plugging a link to a Give Butter. And if anyone, if you're willing to, if you have the ability, if you can donate just $5 in honor of IJ's 5th birthday, we'd love to see how much we can raise in just this membership meeting and celebrating our 5th birthday. $5, $15, $50, whatever you can give to our Give Butter. But also, if you maybe can't give tonight, but you still want to celebrate our 5th birthday with us, Initiate Justice is having a virtual birthday party on Saturday, September 18th. So I'm going to plug the RSVP link in the chat for that. So September 18th at 5 p.m., our 5th birthday celebration is going down. So I'm plugging that into the chat now to RSVP to get the Zoom link for that. So yes, thank you, Shayla. Shayla said she got 5 on it. Who else does? Let's see, and we will keep track and be providing updates periodically throughout the meeting. But I just wanted to, give a huge shout out to Initiate Justice and all of the work that we've managed to accomplish. So shout out to IJ, shout out to our new staff members. And that's all I have for our organizational updates. I'm actually going to go ahead and get our committee members the opportunity to give us some updates. So first and foremost, we have our advocacy committee, which actually, hold on real quick. Stacy, you had a hand raised. Did you have a question or a comment? Did you want to put that in the chat, or did you want to ask something? Just wanted to check. No? Okay. Okay, maybe she was just shouting out our 5th birthday. So I want to pass it to our advocacy committee to get us started with updates. Super excited to hear from our committees now.
Hello, everyone. My name is Greg. I serve as the policy manager for Initiate Justice. So I'm going to give the policy updates and let y'all know where everything stands. So the really big news today was that our bill, AB 292, the Access to Programming Act, passed the Senate floor. More than 80% of senators in California voted yes on our bill, including multiple Republicans. And it was just truly overwhelming support for our bill today.
Woo!
Barriers to in-prison programming. So yes, with the woo.
Woo!
I'm subdued now, but I've been screaming all afternoon. I've been celebrating and stuff. So I don't think Lee is here, but if Lee were here, I'm just channeling his energy right now. Thank you, social justice champions who have helped us to get to this place with our bill. And it's just really amazing to, get it this far, and appreciate everybody who went on a ledge visit, who uplifted the bill on social media, who has just been following along throughout the year. It's just a really amazing feeling. And I just feel very lucky and very fortunate to work at Initiate Justice and to work with you all who make things like this possible. So this is something that we should celebrate and should feel that we have a stake in accomplishing. And this is all of our wins for this evening. And we should definitely celebrate this win. So whether that's you want to celebrate by making a donation to IJ, or if you just want to, do other things to celebrate, you definitely should. That's the really good news about AB 292. There's 2 more steps. It has to go back to the Assembly for a concurrence vote, which is just mostly procedural, nothing to worry about. And then it goes to the governor's desk. And if the governor signs it, it has become a law and it goes into effect January 1, 2022. So that bill is very close to being at the end of the process, and it's been a long process for that bill. Unfortunately, the news about our other bill is not as positive. So AB 256, that's authored by Assemblymember Kalra, the Racial Justice Act for All, was turned into a 2-year bill last week in the Senate Appropriations Committee, meaning it is not moving forward in 2021. It is effectively parked or paused for this year. And so it will not be signed by the governor this year. It will not go into effect next year, and it will not be eligible to move in the legislature until January of 2022. So next year, the RJA for All will move forward, and then the following year, it'll go into effect. Obviously this was disappointing for us because, we want all of our bills to progress and to get to the stage where AB 292 is right now. But, for us, AB 256, it was an unexpected outcome, but it's not fully dead. It's just paused. And it'll be eligible to move forward in January of next year. So really amazing news with AB 292. Thank you everyone for that. And with 256, there's more work to do. So just, please stay tapped into that bill. Please continue following it. And we're going to need everybody to work just as hard as they did behind 292 for us to be able to push 256 next year. So that's the update for our legislation. All the bills have until September 10th this year to clear the legislature. And then the governor has until October 10th to sign bills or to veto them. But we're very, very close to being end of the legislative process in 2021. And again, everything that we accomplished this year is thanks to y'all. So truly appreciate every single one of you. For the advocacy committee, we have a couple meetings coming up. Policy office hours are Tuesday, September 14th from 5 to 6 p.m. The advocacy committee meeting, the full committee, is the following Tuesday, September 21st at 5:30 to 6:15. And then at the end of the month, we have Abolition Corner on Tuesday, September 28th from 5:30 to 6:30. So if y'all allow me a moment, I will put all those RSVP links in the chat. As always, you can reach me at greg@initiatejustice.org. My colleague Sarah can be reached at policy@initiatejustice.org. And just like, thank you, everyone. And you should all celebrate AB 292 victory this evening. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Greg. And I just plugged both Greg and Sarah's emails into the chat. Also, Greg's going to plug his links to the upcoming policy office hours, committee meeting, and Abolition Corner. But at the end of all of the committee updates, Daisy's actually going to share out our September calendar of events, which is going to have these links. So no worries, you don't have to remember everything, because we're going to give you a calendar that has all of these dates, times, and registration links on it. So thank you again, Greg. Thank you, and shout out to our freaking policy team. We have the best policy team advocating for us, so we appreciate it. And then also just everyone. We couldn't do it without you all, so we appreciate all of the calls made, all of the meetings held, and just all of the dedication and word spread that's been contributing to making this a success. So thank you. We're almost there. And next, I'm going to pass it on to our Inside Membership Committee with Crystal.
Thank you, Antoinette. Good evening, everyone. I'm so happy to see so many familiar faces. Just a few updates on my end. I want to, thank everyone who has come to the in-person mail nights at our downtown office. They have been a huge success. We've been able to respond to mail, enter names. And my special announcement is that we now officially have 45,147 incarcerated members. That's 45,000 people who are joining us in the movement towards abolishing prisons. And sometime in the very, very near future, will be joining us through these Zoom calls. Thank you to our 65 volunteers who are continuously doing data entry on their own time. Crispy, Sherry, Victor, I see you on here, many, many more. Thank you all so much for all of the time and effort you put into making sure our members get our magazine. And with that being said, I will be emailing you all when our summer issue of that magazine goes up into our website. We now provide that in Spanish as well. So thank you to our translators who made that happen. We have close to 2,000 Spanish speaking Inside members. So thank you all so much for translating that so that they also get the updates that they need. And my next committee meeting is Wednesday, September 8th at 5:30 p.m. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns in the meantime, please feel free to email me at chris@initiatejustice.org. I'll drop that in the chat along with the RSVP link for my committee meeting.
Thank you so much, Crystal. And how amazing is that, y'all? Over 45,000 Inside members. All of our volunteers who consistently assist, and all of our Inside Membership Committee members, your work does not go unnoticed. We see you, we appreciate you, and we are grateful for all of your dedication. Crystal, we're grateful for the work that you've committed to our Inside Membership Committee and building our Inside membership. So thank you. So as Crystal goes ahead and plugs her information, I just shared her email into the chat. I just want to shout out real quick that we have 26 people who donated over $500 so far to celebrate Initiate Justice's birthday. So thank you, thank you, thank you. We truly do support it. We truly do appreciate your support. And this goes to help like with our Insight program, with mailing out our new magazine to all of these 45,000 Insight members, right? It goes to help us with any outreach that we need to do in terms of getting our bill campaigns through the legislature. So just thank you everyone for all of your support. And now I'm gonna pass it on to Inside Organizing, and you guys will get to hear from one of our newest staff members this evening. So Adam, I'm passing it over to you.
What's up, IJ fam? How we doing? I feel like Lee right now because he didn't say something to all my justice initiators. How y'all doing? I'm just so proud to be here. Thank you for this opportunity. Happy birthday to IJ. IJ is coming up. I am so happy and so proud to be a part of what's taking place right now, especially knowing my story. So I am filling in right now fully as he's out on vacation. And tomorrow, I just want to say this, tomorrow between 5:30 and 6:30, we are having an Insider Organizer Committee meeting. I advise everyone who wants to participate and know the ins and outs of how we are creating so many people with the actual institute. It's just amazing. It's just blowing my mind. So if you want to learn more about that, please join tomorrow. Everything it just feels natural, it just feels good, and I'm just happy to be here. And so I'm happy to be a part of everybody that's contributing to this, and knowing that I was inside, doing it from the inside, and now I've been out here being able to do it with my loved ones out here with all of y'all is just amazing. So just thank you, and I'll pass it back to you, Anthony. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Adam. And we're just super excited to have Adam now here on the outside, providing all of his insight and really using his lived experience to uplift and support our members who are still inside. That's amazing. That's courageous. That's compassionate. And we definitely appreciate you, Adam, for doing so. So thank you, everyone. Okay. And September 18th, if our birthday wasn't enough for you to join our birthday party, but September 18th, Adam is officially off of parole. So just like that freedom, congratulations. We're super excited for that. Y'all come celebrate with us, come celebrate with Adam, and just recognize, the fight and all of the hard work that pays off that y'all do. It truly does pay off. So thank you, Adam, for being here. Thank you for the update. Share the links into the chat. And if y'all have any questions, you guys can, as you know, email Lee and I'm going to put Lee's email into the chat for everyone, or Adam. And then I'm going to, sorry, was someone saying something?
No, I was just saying thank you. Thank you for putting that in the chat as well.
Yeah, no problem at all. And then I'm going to pass it off to Daisy as she gives an update on our outside membership committee.
Thanks, Antoinette. And it's just so nice to see the camaraderie in the chat, how everybody is super, super excited and happy for Adam. And also just to see how folks on this call alone are able to fundraise $590 in less than 20 minutes. I mean, we are blowing up, and that is grassroots efforts right there, and testament to the work that we do. So just want to say thank you to everybody who has contributed thus far. This work is not possible without your support. So really appreciate that. So Antoinette and I co-lead the outside membership committee. And so basically in this committee, our members help us to really build and develop the engagement of the folks that we are engaging with on the outside to support the work that we are doing. We met last month, and our committee members actually discussed ways that we could get folks to get engaged with the upcoming recall election. We talked about this at our last member meeting. The governor's up for recall in a couple of weeks. And so this is an opportunity for folks to really utilize their voice to vote, especially those that are currently on parole that now have the ability to vote as a result of Prop 17, a win that you all helped us pass last year, a monumental historic win for us. And so we want to make sure that we can engage our members in the community who are system infected, who are on parole, who now have that ability to voice and express, the way they feel as far as who they want to elect in our democracy. And so our members actually ended up coming up with a really cool idea that you can all participate in, which they called the #ballot challenge. And so basically, you take a photo of yourself or your ballot as you're dropping it off at the collection box and tag friends that you're challenging to also do the same and vote, cast their vote, and make sure that their ballot gets dropped off in time before the election. And so we've already had folks share and tag Initiate Justice on social media. And it's so exciting to see folks really spreading the word, especially those who are now able to vote and really seeing them be able to cast that in this election. So the election takes place on September 14th. So we have still time now for folks who are receiving their ballots or who are still wanting to register on the conditional basis up until the election. But I just wanted to share that was a really cool idea that folks had in our committee. And we also had a couple of folks who also went the extra mile and printed out flyers from the Secretary of State's office to share at visit when they went to visit, because really it is the folks that are impacted directly by the issues that we're trying to resolve that we need to get involved in this process. So please try to spread the word as far as the importance of the election and making sure that folks, if they're eligible to cast their vote in time for that. But very, very happy to see the ballot challenge take off on social media, and tag us at Initiate Justice. We want to see it. We love to see it. And as Adam said, you can tag him as well, and he'll make you go viral. So drop your hashtags or your account names in the chat if you want, and we'll make sure that we spotlight you. But I'll pass it back over to you, Antoinette.
Thank you, Daisy. And yes, Adam just shared his in the chat. And then also Taina just shared a very useful link, which is a ballot tracker. So you can actually track your ballot all the way from the ballot box, all the way from the drop box to being counted. So that's transparency is important, and you can make sure that your voice counts, that your vote matters, and you can actually track that. So definitely recommend utilizing that link that Taina shared there in the chat. So I'm going to pass it on to our last committee update, definitely not least, but this is our last committee update for the night and before our main event. So passing it to Healing with Rashida and Indigo for your updates.
Yes, thank you, Antoinette. Can you hear me well?
Yes.
Okay, good. Before I give the updates, it was just on my heart to give people their flowers now and the now. So I just want to shout Taina out for just being this brave, dope, revolutionary woman who created all of this with the help of a team. Like, Taina, you're amazing. Daisy, Antoinette, Jay, like everybody who like literally is like the glue in this community, who pour love. Like, I just want to give you all your flowers now. Like, we're nothing without a team and an effort. So just thank you. And that's what healing is all about. Me just giving you all your flowers is healing for me. So thank you. And let's continue to do the work together. Our healing updates, we have a special circle honoring the life of Teddy, which we're hosting on September 5th at 11 a.m. So that's this Sunday. We have our healing event that we're super excited. The healing committee has been working very hard to brainstorm ideas, and that is still as scheduled, Sunday, September 12th. A flyer is to come once approved, but it is coming. We have our men's healing circle with Graham and oh my gosh, Manny, yes. Monday, September 13th, our people with incarcerated loved ones, Wednesday, September 15th, our formerly incarcerated circle, September 20th. And then lastly, every Monday of the month, our healing committee. I encourage you all to continue to show up with love. Even if you miss one month, it's okay. There's no start or end date for healing. We're always evolving and healing. So it is highly encouraged for you to show up and just come allow us to be in community with each other with love. So again, thank you. If you all have any questions, concerns, comments, I am available. But again, thank you all, and I love you dearly.
Thank you so much, Rashida. And I am definitely like accepting those flowers, and everyone else, please do. I know, speaking for myself specifically, I appreciate the affirmations, the reminder and the appreciation. It definitely makes me feel good and full. So thank you. And just also recognizing our amazing team and uplifting our amazing team here at IJ, because it's definitely a collective effort. And all of you, like Rashida, Indigo, all of our outside organizers who are joining us, just like Mateo and all of those who help us, Crispy, Myra, Erica, like everyone, Rachel, Roxy, like Stacy, just everybody. Just really appreciative of everyone who joins us, who continues to help us fight, as well as like our facilitators. So just really appreciate you all. So I am actually going to share, or actually, yeah, I'm going to share our calendar of events. So like I mentioned early on, we have a calendar of events that actually has clickable links to every single one of our upcoming meetings, our committee meetings, as well as our other events like IJ's birthday and things of that nature. So I am, give me 1 second, let me just open that up. Going to share my screen, that way you can see what it looks like, but then I'm also going to share it in the chat for you all. So here's my screen. So this is what it looks like. And like I said, you click on, if you hover over any one of them, you can actually click on the links and it'll take you directly to register for that particular meeting on Zoom. So I'm going to share that for you all in the chat now. And then it's also going to be shared out following the meeting. So don't worry if for any reason you can't copy it or save it from the chat. It's going to be sent out to everyone afterwards as well. Thank you, all of our committee leads. Thank you for all of your work. And thank you for keeping us engaged, right? Keeping us active, keeping us empowered, keeping us fighting, because we can only do it with the help of every single one of you. So there's the link to our calendar of events. You can just click that and it'll take you right to all of our events this month. But without further ado, I'm going to pass the mic to Daisy to transition us into our main event for the night. I'm super excited, something that's very near and dear and close to my heart. I'm as someone who's directly impacted by it, so I too am excited for this discussion this evening.
Thanks, Antoinette. So we do have our panelists and presenters here in the room with us, but before I introduce them, I actually wanted to start off this portion of tonight's meeting by playing a testimonial from one of our outside organizers, a loved one who is currently serving an LWOP sentence and wanted to share a couple of words with all of you. So I'm gonna play that for you all in a moment.
Where I committed my name is Anthony Snead. I'm an inmate in California State Prison prisons. So far, I've been down 33 years. I came to prison when I committed my crime at 18, and I'm 51 years old now. During the time I've been in prison, serving the LWOP sentence has been very difficult. We are very limited to the things that we can do in here. Due to the LWOP sentence, we can't receive certain jobs. We can't be out of our cells after certain hours. We can't go to certain prisons. There's a lot of things that's taken away from us that other people receive due to the life without the possibility of parole. The only thing keep us going in here, especially me, is hope. Due to all the self-help classes they have here, educational programs such as receiving your GED in college. I obtained my GED. I'm in college now, and I'm in here trying to better myself and learn about myself so I can be a better citizen the second time around than I was the first time. LWOPs do deserve a second chance. Well, I wouldn't say we deserve it, but we would like a second chance out there in society to prove myself. LWOPs in here, the recidivism percentage is 0. Nobody that's serving LWOP that's been released from prison has ever came back. So y'all need us out there in society. And we are a lot of good people out here. We have a lot to give to society. And if given a second chance, you will see how productive we can be out there in society due to the steps we've taken in here. Thank you.
And so we bring Anthony into the space with us as his loved one, Erica, will be part of the presenters tonight and holding space for Anthony as we continue the work that we are doing, but grateful for organizations like DropLWOP who will be talking more about their work here in a second. But just wanted to bring Anthony into the space as we talk about the movement to end LWOP and trying to bring someone like him and others who are impacted that opportunity to be back with their loved ones and their families in our community. So with that being said, I wanted to introduce the DropLWOP Coalition and the presenters that are going to be joining us today to talk about what LWOP is, what the movement is, and how you can all get involved in the work. So in California, there are over 5,000 people who are serving life without the possibility of parole sentences, which are better known as LWOP. People of color are disproportionately sentenced to LWOP, and of the nearly 200 people serving LWOP in California women's prisons, the overwhelming majority are survivors of abuse, including intimate partner battering, childhood abuse, sexual violence, and sex trafficking. The DropLWOP Coalition works to end life without parole sentencing in California, and their goal is to afford relief to those currently serving the sentence, no matter their conviction, through legislative change, commutations, pardons, and resentencing, as well as public awareness about the injustices of the LWOP sentence. Tonight, we are being joined by Yolanda Navarrete, who is a retired volunteer with the DropLWOP Coalition, as well as an outside organizer of Initiate Justice. Fuel and her husband Joey has served 27.5 years of an LWOP sentence, and she is incredibly proud of his accomplishment. Her mission is to end LWOP. If you've been in our spaces as far as the Institute of Impacted Leaders or in our various committees, you probably have ran into Yolanda. So we are very excited to have you on tonight as a presenter and panelist, Yolanda. We are also being joined by Susan Bustamante, who was commuted and released from CIW in 2018 after serving 31 years of a life without the possibility of parole sentence. Susan is an original member of the Convicted Women Against Abuse, and she is a longtime member of the California Coalition for Women Prisoners, as well as a leader in the campaign to drop LWOP. So thrilled that you are here with us, Susan, to share your personal testimony and lived experience with our members. We're also being joined tonight by Erica Rios, who is an outside organizer with Initiate Justice and is engaged to Anthony Snead, who you just heard from. He has been incarcerated for 33 years since he was 18, as you heard him share in the audiogram tonight, and is currently in Lancaster State Prison. Erica recently actually just graduated from the Institute of Impacted Leaders in the San Fernando Valley cohort, and is involved with the DropLWOP Coalition through her work at a nonprofit in the Los Angeles area. She also focuses on helping people who have recently come home from prison. So welcome, Erica, and happy to have you here with us. We also are being joined by Michelle Tran, who is a mother of 3 and the wife of Thai Tran, who has been serving an LWOP sentence in California prison since the age of 19. Michelle has volunteered with DropLWOP, CCWP Fuel, and is now in the Bakersfield Institute of Impacted Leaders cohort. So thank you so much for all of your contributions and your work, Michelle, and excited to have you here as well to share that. Our last presenter tonight that's joining us is Colby Lenz, who's an organizer and legal advocate with the DropLWOP, the California Coalition for Women Prisoners, Survived and Punished, the transgender advocacy group. So as you can see, Colby's involved in a lot of various groups to help really the cause with those folks that are still behind in those prison walls. So Colby's been visiting people sentenced to LWOP and organizing across the walls since 2005. So welcome, Colby, and welcome to the DropLWOP Coalition. I'll turn it over to you, Colby, for tonight's event.
Thank you all so much for having us. I'm going to turn it over to Yolanda as soon as I share my screen successfully. So give me 1 minute. It's making me enter my password in order to share sound. 1 sec.
Hey everybody, the DropLWOP Coalition works to end life without the possibility of parole sentence in California. Our ultimate goal is to abolish LWOP sentencing. And in 2017, the DropLWOP organized to seeking a pathway for relief of loved ones currently serving LWOP. Through the legislative changes, commutation, resentencing, and raising public awareness about the injustice of LWOP. We have a video we're going to go ahead and share with you.
My name is Amina Colbert, and I would describe life without parole as hopelessness, dehumanization, discrimination, despairing, reckless, heartbreaking, obscene, hopelessness, barbaric,
slowly dying,
and unending.
What is life without parole? It's a death sentence. It's really the death penalty.
A sentence that will put you in a locked box with the only possibility that you have is facing and waiting for your own death behind bars.
It's watching dreams die as you grow older. The life without the possibility of parole is watching people's children grow up, and you don't get those years back.
I believe everybody deserves a second chance, and that sentence doesn't give somebody a second chance because they don't have the possibility of going in front of the parole board. They don't have a possibility of going to court, having a judge take a look at this. They can't appeal this type of sentence.
For the United States to just cast people away and punish them to a slow death is unmanageable. And I just can't believe that in this country, the land of the free, they would strip the freedom from individuals so readily and so frequently.
being tough on crime don't necessarily mean that you're safer. It just means that you're more cruel.
Most court processes, you never get to tell the whole story what happened. So how do you decide to give someone life without parole and you never heard the whole story? To say, you will never enter society again. Case closed.
And it can't be that way. We're talking about human beings. That sentence is the walking death sentence.
When I was first sentenced to life without parole, I was really just, in a sense, shocked and numb. I couldn't believe that, wow, here I am, 20 years old, sentenced to life without parole. Basically, you're sentencing me to die in prison that I will never leave.
Whether you're guilty or not, you still are going up against a system that have embedded in it racism and supremacy.
There's a lot of women that are in prison, trans folks that are in prison that are not committed the crime. They're in there for aiding and abetting.
There are over 5,000 people serving LWOP in California prisons.
I just can't just put it into just words. I see the women that I know.
Mimi Lee,
Arlene Dugmore, Anita Ford,
Liz Schroeder,
Susan Bustamante. My son, Anthony, my only child.
Glynis, Donna, Laura.
These are people who will die in prison.
Because you don't have an opportunity to go in front of the Board of Prison hearings. You don't have an opportunity for appeal. The only thing that you have is the hope and a wish that the governor will accommodate your sentence.
We shouldn't be judged under an umbrella. I believe every individual should be judged on their own merit, their own circumstances, their own situation.
And the criminal justice system operates like a huge net that catches everyone. Has nothing to do with healing. There's nothing to do with restorative justice. This system arose out of institutions of white supremacy and slavery. It's about control and punishment.
So what I think the governor should do is do everything he can to ensure that people are released. And if that means commuting sentences. But by no means do I think that if he did that, that would necessarily solve the fundamental problem that we have. So I think that we have a greater argument to have as a society in order to get to the question of what to do about LWOP in a real way.
Yes, I'm asking the general public to please consider looking, if you don't know about what an LWOP sentence is, to get informed. There are many advocacy groups who are working on prison conditions. LWOP is a slow death sentence. I'm asking that family members of people serving time create a movement, become advocates, advocate for your loved ones, right next to all the other organizations and people out there fighting for change in our criminal justice system.
Thank you for that. So LWOP sentencing has increased. Oops, I'm sorry, I skipped ahead. An LWOP sentence ensures a person will spend the rest of their life in prison, also known as death by incarceration. No hope for seeing the board. LWOP exists in all states except Alaska. In many states like California, LWOP is a mandatory minimum for certain charges, which is at the sole discretion of the prosecutors. Yeah, in Europe, the maximum sentence is 25 years for any crime. There is no LWOP in Europe. Hold on 1 second.
Sorry, Yolanda.
That's okay.
I guess going to the video took us out of the slideshow, so let me grab it back one sec.
No problem.
Now you're all going to see my millions of tabs.
All the work that you do, Colby. We appreciate you.
Wrong tab, wrong tab. Sorry, everyone, this didn't happen in our run through.
Taina says, no judgments. Her tabs look like that too.
Thank you, Taina.
Okay, I did that one. And then Michelle, you'll do slide 5, right?
You're muted, hon.
Okay. As you can see from this chart, LWOP has been increasingly used as a sentence. Nationwide, the number of people sentenced to LWOP quadrupled from 1992 to 2012. So extreme sentencing keeps increasing. Between 2003 and 2016, both life sentencing and life without the possibility of parole sentencing increased, but the numbers of people sentenced to life without increased much more.
$5,200 people in California have life without the possibility of parole. 3,700 loved ones were first-time conviction and were sentenced to LWOP. In the US, we have 53,000 people serving life without the possibility of parole or death by incarceration. Over 30% of the incarcerated population in California is serving life without the possibility of parole. That means 1 in 10 people sentenced to LWOP in the United States is in California.
Sorry, everyone. I've never used Canva before except for during our run through, and it's just skipping between slides. Okay. So why the rise in life without parole sentencing? The tough on crime era that began in the 1970s and greatly expanded in the 1980s and the 1990s, as everyone here knows, expanded criminalization through crackdowns on political activism like the Black Panther Party and racist anti-youth policies such as the quote war on crime and the quote war on drugs. Narratives like super predator and the gang problem became dominant, and mass criminalization was embraced as a so-called solution. Mass incarceration was also a way to continue to commit genocide against Black, Brown, and Indigenous people. In California, 6 different ballot initiatives expanded the use of life without parole, creating more and more special circumstances law. And LWOP was also offered by many anti-death penalty activists and organizations as the so-called humane alternative to the death penalty. LWOP disproportionately impacts marginalized and vulnerable people and communities.
District attorneys choose how they will charge a defendant. As a result, people with less power to fight overly punitive charges are more likely to receive a life sentence without parole sentence. This means that Black and Latinx people and young people are more likely to face the mandatory minimum of LWOP. LWOP sentencing is racist. Almost 7 out of 10 people sentenced to LWOP in California are Black and Latinx. 80% of people sentenced to LWOP are people of color. LWOP impacts youth disproportionately. 62% of people sentenced to LWOP were under 26 at the time of the offense. 19 years old is the most common age of people sentenced to LWOP. 71% of people sentenced to LWOP were sentenced to death by incarceration for their first conviction ever. People serving LWOP, life without the possibility of parole in California women's prisons. Most are survivors of abuse. 90% were convicted as aiders and abettors. 87% had no prior convictions. Yeah, here's my story. I was sentenced to life without the possibility of parole in 1987 after a 2-day trial. After being incarcerated for 31 years, my sentence was commuted by Governor Brown in 2017, and I was paroled in 2018. I'm a survivor of molestation and abuse, and I'm a leading organizer with CCWP, the DropLWOP Coalition, and SB 300 policy team, as well as an advisor for Home Free.
And why am I fighting DropLWOP? Because Joey has served 27 and a half years, costing the state $2.7 million to date. 9 years ago, I reconnected with Joey and I learned how easy it was to be sentenced to LWOP with no intent. That was just mind-blowing. Like, how could that be? And I have 13 grandchildren from the age of 4 to 19, and I'm determined to protect them from this loophole that is being misused by the prosecutors. And that is why I am fighting DropLWOP.
Sorry. Why I'm fighting to drop LWOP is for Anthony and those serving an LWOP sentence. I want them to have the opportunity to have a second chance to life, a second chance to feel human, something that they has taken away from them, and not see them die behind prison walls, and not let them or allow them to be a product of their environment. And that's why I'm fighting to drop LWOP. Thank you.
My name is Michelle Tran. I'm the mother of 3 and the wife of Ty Tran, who has been serving an LWOP sentence for the past 25 years. He was sentenced at 19 years old for a first-time conviction. I'm fighting because I believe that everyone is able to grow and show. I don't really know the word I'm trying to say. I'm sorry, guys, I'm stumped. I believe that everyone should have the opportunity to go before the Board of Parole to prove that they can grow and age out of the day old, they say, age out of crime. I believe just by sentencing somebody at a young age or at any age and saying that they can never see the future, basically that's what they did. They took away every ounce of hope, every ounce of future that they ever could, possibly the day they were sentenced to this. And people change. I know I'm not the person I was when I was 19 years old. So the reason I'm fighting is because this is an inhumane sentence that nobody deserves to be sentenced to death nor life without the possibility of parole.
I'm going to, can I jump in just real quick and answer why I'm fighting to drop LWOP? Because after serving 31 years of that sentence, you form family, you listen to stories, you get to see them when they're crying, when they've had losses, when they've had births, all the emotions of being with your family inside for decades. And I'm fighting because those people are still there. And there's more family that I've met that everybody deserves to come home. Everybody deserves that chance. I had that chance. Somebody fought for me, and I can't do no less. Thank you. Thank you. People with LWOP are isolated. Frequent transfers among prisons makes connections difficult for people serving LWOP. They are often incarcerated in maximum security prisons in remote areas. Family visits are prohibited under certain circumstances. People serving LWOP live under extremely strict restrictions, like close custody for many years.
Mental health suffers dramatically. Absence of hope, a walking death sentence, days blend into each other. Mental health services are virtually non-existent. And it's kind of like if you decide to seek out mental health, it's like a black mark against you when you go to board. Why did you need it? All of a sudden you're not good enough to go home. So a lot of people don't try to seek out the mental health, which obviously, as you can see that I'm still crying, that they need it.
There is no relief for many things. People serving LWOP are not eligible for ongoing assistance with legal needs, compassionate release for terminal illness, elder parole, reduced time for good behavior, or resentencing opportunities regulated by CDCR.
People with LWOP experience aging in prison. They must partake in programming regardless of age or health status. There was a woman who was 82 years old, going blind, and she still had the program until finally they let her medically disabled. Family and loved ones passed away with no closure. Medical care is poor and difficult to access, and there's no restful retirement in prison. So I'm going to talk about this photo. We had a impromptu gather to get this picture, and I still remember being in that picture. I am in the third row in that blue shirt, and there are 5 women in this picture that have paroled since 2017. So I'm pretty proud that they're out here, but look at how many, and this is only a very small portion of what LWOP looks like. Look at the gray hair, look at the canes and the wheelchairs and the wristbands. And I was 32 when I went in. I came out at 63.
People serving LWOP, family members, and other advocates realize that it will take a mass movement from everyone to get people released from LWOP sentences and to end LWOP. Organizing on the inside was difficult, but needed to happen. There was no place or a way to meet. Administration had the fear that us LWOPs meeting together would be power in numbers. We knew that we still needed to fight for freedom, even though we were basically condemned to a death sentence for us in general population. LWOP is a walking death sentence, quoted Kelly Savage, who has since been commuted. Organizing against LWOP started with the people inside California prisons. They recognized the need for outside advocates to take action. Family members and other activists responded, and over time, the DropLWOP coalition was formed. We continued to gather stronger as more inside organizers come home and to help lead the movement. Kelly Savage quoted, "Here is now free and a coordinator of the DropLWOP coalition." Between 2017 and 2018, CCWP joined with Fuel Families Unite to end LWOP. the Felony Murder Elimination Project, CURB, and many other organizations to form the DropLWOP campaign and coalition. Now, DropLWOP has grown to include over 100 organizations signing on to fight to end LWOP. We are developing a strong network to mobilize thousands of people directly affected by LWOP and extreme sentencing. We hope Initiate Justice members will keep supporting and even get more involved with the DropLWOP. These photos show some of the ways and places we've been advocating to DropLWOP, from Sacramento to LA and all across the state of California. And of course, the most important victories are that people inside have hope and are finally being released. This photo shows several who have been commuted, and they have since rejoined the community with their families and loved ones.
So one of the pieces that we wanted to update everybody on today too is some of the legislative work that we've been working on in terms of trying to end life without parole sentencing over time. There's only limited things that we can change through the legislature because a lot of the laws that mandate life without parole were passed through ballot initiatives. And so, you know, for the first year ever, there were 3 LWOP bills introduced this year, and they're all in a complicated status, but we'll give you some updates. And so SB 300, authored by Cortese, we called the Sentencing Reform Act of 2021. And I'll get into a little bit more detail about that in a minute. But first, we wanted to show you this short 2-minute video that highlights Brian Mason's story to talk about, you know, the kind of change we're trying to make with SB 300. Hopefully I won't lose the slideshow again, but I might. Sorry in advance.
Brian Mason was one of the cherished jewels of the community in San Diego, California. Surrounded by the war on drugs and upsurge in violence, Brian managed to keep his head out of trouble. He enjoyed spending time with loved ones, lending a helping hand to family and neighbors. He graduated from high school without a blemish on his record and secured a job shortly after. With his hard work, Brian was one of the first of his friends to purchase a car. On July 6, 1999, Brian drove his friends to a motel party where they hung out with another group of young men in the pool area. Everyone was getting along, having a good time, and eventually they all went to a hotel room and started rapping together. Some of the lyrics got out of hand, and when some of their new acquaintances felt insulted, Brian's group was asked to leave. When they got back to the car, Brian's friend realized he forgot his jacket in the motel room. When the group went back to retrieve the jacket, there was a quick exchange of words. The situation escalated and turned into a fight. During the fight, one of his friends was getting beaten up pretty badly, so his friend's younger brother fired a shot and ended up killing someone. Because of the unfortunate events that unfolded that night, the DA wanted to charge Brian for murder, which means they had to find an underlying felony in order for his charge to stick. The evidence against Brian and his group included a broken chain necklace found at the scene, along with a witness testimonial citing a line that the gunman shouted, "Break yourself." With this evidence against them, Brian and his group were charged with robbery. Brian did not shoot a gun. He did not have a gun. He did not plan to murder anyone. He did not aid and abet a murder, nor did he have intent to murder. In our justice system, a person in Brian's situation can still be given the death sentence regardless of all the aforementioned facts due to a penal code 190.2D, also known as special circumstances murder. Intent to kill is not always required for this enhancement charge and is an automatic sentence to life behind bars or death. Brian unfortunately received the death sentence for reckless indifference to human life, an enhancement term that most people do not understand, a term that is not explained well under its own penal code. So what exactly constitutes reckless indifference to human life? Brian's participation did not inflict any major damage, and yet he is sentenced to die. Brian's sentence is actually more harsh than if he had actually premeditated the whole incident. Let's bring Brian and other countless wrongfully convicted people home. Abolish 190.2D and vote yes on SB 300.
Sorry, everybody. Here we go. Let this serve as a reminder for your quiz later. I think I've learned what I've been doing wrong, which is putting it in full screen and then somehow it jumps to YouTube. Okay. So as you heard, if you're not already aware from Brian's story, this is felony murder. You know, I know Initiate Justice also threw down hard to pass SB 1437, right, which was a first reform of felony murder for California. And SB 300 is one of the next ones that we need to make sure that we don't leave out people sentenced to life without parole and the death penalty. So SB 300 would do two things. It would stop this unjust practice of mandating life without parole or the death penalty for people who are being charged and convicted for somebody else's actions. And the second thing that it will do is bring back judicial discretion so that judges can actually have discretion to strike special circumstances, which is, you know, the kind of enhancement or aggravating factor that mandates life without parole sentence. And that piece is beyond the felony murder special circumstance, that's across the board. And the update on SB 300 for right now is that we did manage to get it through the Senate with some very heartbreaking amendments in terms of the retroactivity piece. But we were able to reach the 2/3 vote with that in order to move this process forward. And we have a very committed team of people. We got stuck in assembly rules, so we can't move the bill again until January. And we'll be talking a little bit more about ways that people can get involved and support the kind of education and base building work that we're doing in the meantime. Reaching 2/3 vote in the legislature is extremely hard. And that's why all of the LWOP bills this year got held up in different ways. There's lots more to say about that, but we'll be able to do that in other meetings. So to support us with SB 300, there's a couple links here. If you're willing to sign up to be a constituent that we call on when we are trying to move different assembly members, there's a link there where you can sign up. And also you can sign up to be a super friend, which is our big network of people that we rely on to push actions on social media and beyond. And then just really quick, another LWOP bill that's on hold right now that many people probably also know about and some here organized for, I'm sure, is SB 481, authored by Durazo. And this provides resentencing opportunities for those sentenced to LWOP when they were 25 or under. I made the edit in the notes, but not on this thing. So it's not under 25, but 25 and under.
Additional volunteers needed. We need your help. We meet on Zoom on the third Mondays of every month. Please mark your calendars to join our September meeting. Please email us at droplwopoutreach@gmail.com. The DropLWOP Coalition has 4 work teams, and we invite you to join us. There's the Clemency Now team, which provides support to people who want to file clemency applications with the governor. The Outreach team reaches out to the community organizations to educate them about the injustices of LWOP and to get people involved. We also have a social media teams, develops traditional and social media campaigns and toolkits, and publicizes our advocacy actions. Then we also have a legislative team, and it develops and passes legislation to reduce LWOP sentencing and helps develop strategies to drop LWOP entirely. And save the dates for the Drop LWOP Strategy Week. Save the dates for October the 16th through the 23rd for virtual strategy sessions to drop LWOP. And Families United to End LWOP was established by 5 family members in 2017. Fuel organized all these photos for a rally in Sacramento in 2018. And thankfully, a small number of people in these pictures have been commuted. It's important to highlight that everyone is still serving a life without the possibility of parole or suffering death by incarceration. Please join the DropLWOP Coalition to help abolish life without the possibility of parole. Scroll down. The DropLWOP Coalition would like to thank everyone at Initiate Justice, especially our fearless leader, Taina, for creating this organization and for sharing the IJ platform. This is a safe place where we all can learn from each other and empower each other and uplift each other with the facts, the truths, and bring solutions to abolish the system. Initiate Justice has been fighting for social justice by empowering the impacted community with guiding tools, and we look forward to more organizing together to drop LWOP as well. And I'd like for everybody to please come off mute. I'm gonna say 1, 2, 3, and we're all gonna say drop LWOP, and we're gonna do that twice. Go ahead and come off mute. 1, 2, 3. Drop
LWOP.
One more time. 1, 2.
LWOP.
Drop
LWOP.
Drop it. Drop it. Drop it.
LWOP.
Thank you.
Drop LWOP. Drop it like it's hot.
Drop LWOP like a rock.
Yeah, drop it like it's hot.
Thank you all so much for presenting to our members about your work, Colby, Erica, Michelle, Susan, Yolanda. We appreciate all of your contributions, the education that you dropped in the chat. I saw several members bring their loved ones in who are currently serving these sentences, and really also thanking you all for uplifting this fight to our members. I dropped in the chat some of the links that were shared, the email address where you can sign up to join the SB 300 Google group or get involved with the coalition, which is the DropLWOP outreach@gmail.com email address. I also dropped the short link to join the SB 300 constituent list, which is a bit.ly link, bit.ly/SB300 support. And also they mentioned that there's going to be a strategy week, so you can register for that through the link that I just shared in the chat. But again, I really appreciate all that you shared with us tonight. I'm actually going to move us forward to a panel that we're going to have here now, where we're going to have Yolanda, Susan, Michelle, and Erica share a little bit more as far as like some of their personal lived experience with the work that they've been involved with, and also, you know, hearing from Susan herself as someone who's actually been sentenced to LWOP and been commuted. So I guess I wanted to start off by asking each of you to share with our members what you all hope people take away from tonight's meeting. What is it that you want people to walk away from tonight, learning from the work and the fight that is as it exists to end LWOP?
Okay, Erica's husband knocked me at my knees, so I got emotional from the moment this started, because that was me. That was me calling home. That was me saying, help me. So I'm sorry if I'm so emotional. That is why I have to do this. It is difficult. because I can picture everybody I left behind. I see the people and the wives and the partners that are struggling for their loved ones. Joanne for her son. So I know that injustice. I know living that death sentence. And I'm grateful to be out here, but it's hard to be grateful to be out here because they're still there.
What I want everybody to understand is that it's very easy for any of our relatives, our grandchildren, to fall into this prosecutorial trap, is what I call it. And it's going to take all of us to come alive and show legislators and teach them exactly how easy it is. My heart goes out to Joanne. She established felony murder elimination project because her only miracle child was sentenced at 20 years old for a crime he did not commit. I would like for everybody to join in with the DropLWOP coalition, especially our constituent team, because when we start back up in January, we need bodies and souls and hearts and minds to help us educate the legislatures, offices and staff, and help allow our loved ones to have a possibility of going before the parole board. You know, it's just not fair. And I don't want to see this happen to anybody else, especially our future generations. It's enough is enough. Like the lady said in the video, this is a white supremacy situation. It's systemic oppression, which I learned through IJ when I went through the cohort. And we all need to pull together and make these laws abolished. Thank you.
For me, what I hope everyone takes away is that your mistakes should not define who you are all through your life. That people, it's easy to judge someone and make comments, but not really know exactly what entails and all the depth of it. I don't want to see anybody ever go through this. It's hard to know. Any sentence is hard, but when basically, why do we have 2 death sentences? They can try to cover it up all they want, but we have 2 death sentences and both of them need to go. It's the same thing. But most of all, we need the support for SB 300 and SB 481, because when we tackle these tougher sentences that are pretty much the hardest sentences that exist, it's a trickle effect, and it'll fall into other sentences as well. And the mass incarceration and extreme sentencing comes from these long life terms that, how do they expect you to live 300 years? I mean, we got to stop it somewhere. So we start at the top and eventually the whole mountain will crumble around it. But it takes all of us to do it. It's not just organizations that do it. We need all of you guys to come together with all organizations and just push for it. That's what I ask for. No mother should go to bed every day knowing their son's laying there. No wife, no child to know that their parents are serving a distance.
I'll keep it short. So my thing is that I want everyone to walk away remembering that we're all human beings. That's my main thing. You know, coming together is only going to make us stronger. Why create separation when that already has existed? Short sentences, life, lifers, LWOPs, why do that? Why not come together? You know, why we suffered here, just like they suffer in there, doesn't matter the sentence. And that's something I want everyone to walk away with tonight. Thank you.
Can I add one more thing? You see a bunch of faces on this call. There's a tremendous amount of people. Please don't expect the next person to do it. Stand up and fight. Pick up a phone call. You know, even if you say, I don't know how to, there will be somebody there to help you. Just reach out. As you reached out to get onto this call, please reach out to help push these bills through and help the people come home.
Thank you all so much for sharing that. And Susan, since you actually have been commuted and have served this sentence, which, you know, as I think in the presentation you all called it, the other death sentence, how did you maintain hope while you were serving your sentence, and what kept you going in that time, if you're able to share that with our members?
Well, being a victim of child molestation from 12 to 18 and then abuse from 19 to 25, I went to prison at 32, and I had to learn forgiveness. Through my native walk, I learned how to forgive, but also to be forgiven, because I hated with every fiber of my being for all that I went through. But I kept hope because of the fact that I had two small daughters at home. And I wanted to be the best mom I could be, even from inside. But I kept saying, when I am done doing everything inside I was supposed to do, those gates will fly open, and then I will continue outside. And it happened. You know, I kept the faith and I kept the hope. But then Deirdre, who did make that comment about the white supremacy on this bill, she is the one who did my commutation.
Thank you, Susan. And I just want to say that we really appreciate your vulnerability in this space. And a lot of our members have extended in the chat that they've been really moved by your personal testimony, and everybody else who has shared their personal struggles with this type of sentence and how hard it's been to fight. So just wanted to really uplift you all for your bravery in being here tonight and sharing that. So for Yolanda, Erica, and Michelle, since you are all supporting someone who's currently serving a sentence of LWOP, what keeps all of you going in this fight to end LWOP for your loved one? You've all expressed how hard it's been, you know, with all of the various restrictions that there are in place, and how they've been left out of certain, you know, forms of release or forms of relief. So how do the three of you keep going in this fight to end LWOP?
Let's start this one. The drive, and know, like Susan said, you don't lose hope. As long as you keep that hope going and you speak it into existence, one day they will come home. As long as we keep moving, they're coming home. So as long as we keep that in our mind and don't let that go, we know they're coming home. So that there's the song that they play a while back on Paws of Life, I'm Coming Home, when a guy had got commuted. That song, you listen to that song and you feel that song, and you know in your heart they're coming home. It just takes all the drive from all of us, all my brothers and sisters and everyone out here who are warriors and who are fighting it every day. We have moments, there's no doubt about it. Everyone has moments, but we know this moment we have now, tomorrow will push us that fight harder. And that's my reason, is I know my husband's coming home. When? I don't know, but my husband is coming home.
What keeps me going is learning from all the different organizations. And when my husband suggested that I seek out Initiate Justice, I did. And Taina has laid the foundation with all the wisdom and knowledge and all the facts, and exactly how we can make a difference And that just ignited a fire within me that I already had. But then now I have all these tools and now I know how to do it. And how can I stop there? And that's why I had to sign up to try and be a facilitator, because I needed to help do my part and help educate other impacted family members and make a difference, because it's time for it to stop. And what drives me to keep doing is I don't want this to happen to my grandchildren. It's bad enough it's happened to Joey and Joanne and Christina and Yoli and just everybody that's been in this fight for a long, long time. But IJ is what helped me get my drive and my confidence so I could speak up and try and help make a change. Thank you.
What keeps me going, I would say it's his determination and hope of him walking out those doors, you know, and being here with the family and helping others that are in his same shoes and not let them die there by themselves, you know, and continue the hope regardless of who tries to knock them down. You know, and like Yolanda said, being an IJ has helped a lot. It helped my confidence a lot, you know, and it has educated me in a lot of things, and this is why I'm fighting, you know, so thank you.
Thank you all for that. You've mentioned that this, you know, this is going to take everyone to help us, you know, and LWOP sentencing in our state, in our country, in our nation. And so how can members of the public help the movement to end LWOP? You all talked about some of the legislation that you've been working on, but clearly this has been something that has been in the works for several years to move towards. So Susan, as someone who was inside and was, you know, looking for relief and what it is that you're asking from members of the public, for Yolanda, Erica, and Michelle, as warriors in this fight, who have been involved and started, you know, to get you know, to uplift your voice and your loved ones' voices to be able to end this. What are some of the ways that folks in the public can join the movement to be able to help us get closer to ending LWOP?
As for me, I still also represent the people inside because I did live it. Letting them know, even being pen pals to those inside that have given up, you know, help the LWOPs inside get letters that they matter, you know, because of the fact that they need to be just as on fire as we do out here, you know, because they need to do their program, they need to possibly do their college, they need to do their groups, they, you know, because it's really hard for an LWOP to do that, especially, you know, the way they took away academic and vocation and some groups and some jobs, you know, it's really, they've really narrowed what they get to do, but still you need to take up and find out from CCWP, how could you get on a letter campaign? How can you be a pen pal to those inside to show them that they matter, to so that they can step up?
And Yolanda, Eric, and Michelle, as folks that are out here involved in the work, if there's anything else you'd like to add as far as like encouraging, or for maybe folks are joining for the first time and you've never been involved in advocacy and want to get involved, what would you all suggest as forms that they can get involved with helping the coalition achieve its mission?
I would say go to all the organization websites and educate yourself as best as you can. Join a IJ cohort near you. If there's not one now, I'm sure there will be one in the future. And join the DropLWOP Coalition. You know, like Susan said, sometimes all we need is just, you know, a me too during a public hearing committee or a support letter, you know, and I personally learned boots on the ground. I showed up to a CCWP, they had a lobby day, and I learned from a domestic violence survivor that who had just been commuted, Nye, and the lobbyist for EBC. And I took notes. I was a note taker. This is my first time ever going in, and I was scared to death. But I was in awe by the time I was done at the end of the day, realizing how when you speak the truth and you speak the facts and you leave the materials, and then Fuel was also there too, helping the impacted family members speak their truth. I saw the light bulbs turn on with the legislators, and they actually said, you know, we always think of this as black and white, money and dollars. You guys are making us see it from a different perspective. And I thought that was so powerful. So even if you don't know, it's so easy, and there's baby steps, ledge visits. If you've never done a ledge visit with us or anybody else, you can take a minute part in the whole thing, or even just be there and listen and just give your name and who's impacted or why you want to be supporting the bill. It doesn't take much. And the more we have, the better the movement.
Thank you, Yolanda and Susan. And then I wanted to open it up to the panelists. If there's anything else you want to share before we close up, we sincerely appreciate you all being here and sharing your fight and your struggle with us, and educating our members with, you know, the information that they need, so that way they can have a better understanding as far as the sentence and why we need to get everybody involved and to care about this issue. But just wanted to open up the floor in case there was any last things you wanted to share with our members tonight.
I do. You know, being incarcerated 31 years, I came out with I can't do anything. I don't know anything. I don't know technology. I still don't. I was in a box, never to get out. I was in, like Joanne says, a room with no exit. So you're never prepared. They don't prepare you for paroling because you only have 6 months then to get for board and then turn around and come home. So you don't know what society is. I was still in, you know, at the age of 32. So I'm still 32 in my head, but I'm old. But Erica, with meeting Erica, she said she's shy. She doesn't know the words to say. Well, I didn't either. I still don't. I still stumble over my words. I still cry with the emotion, because this is such a fight that is so needed, that everybody, no matter how insignificant you think your message is, it's huge. You know, it's like when I go on those ledge meetings, those Zooms, I'm a face of what an LWOP looks like. I am 66 years old, a grandmother, a great grandmother, but this is a face of who held LWOP. So it changes their way of seeing, but still, it shouldn't be that everybody deserves a second chance.
Thank you, Susan, for sharing that. And to our panelists, thank you so much for being here. Folks in the chat, if you want to extend your remarks as far as like our guest tonight, please drop them in the chat. We really appreciate you sharing, again, so much strength and so much love being sent your way. And in the chat is also the email address where you can contact DropLWOP Coalition to get involved with the fight and the movement to end LWOP. Appreciate you all. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you guys for taking the time and spending your evening with us and everything. We truly appreciate each and every one of you guys. Thank you.
Drop LWOP.
Drop LWOP.
Drop LWOP.
Drop LWOP. Thank you all so much. So we are going to, I'm actually going to pass it over to Taina, who's going to share a couple of words with us. So Taina, I'll pass it over to you.
Thank you, Daisy, and thank you so much, Miss Yolanda, Susan, Michelle, Erica, for sharing with us this evening. I just wanted to say that I've been so moved by all of y'all's personal testimony, all of the people dropping in the chat saying that they have a loved one impacted by LWOP, or folks, like Lee, who's on our team, who was LWOP and came home, and Antoinette, whose brothers have LWOP, and Rashida and Rashani, and so many folks who are impacted by this horrible, horrible law. So I just wanted to let you all know that you're doing an amazing job. The work that you have done so far is historic, it's life-changing. The fact that SB 300 and 481 are even moving forward is something that folks probably would have thought was impossible 10 years ago. So just imagine what y'all are going to be able to do in the next 10 years. And folks inside right now serving LWOP are going to be free soon because of the work that y'all are doing. So thank you for sharing your incredible gifts with our team. Of course, IJ is here to be supportive in any ways that we can, but I also just, feel compelled to tell y'all, take care of yourselves. Even everybody here who was just listening to this work, it's tough. I cannot imagine what it's like to have someone inside serving an LWOP sentence, and you all are so vigilant in moving forward. But it's okay if there's days where you're not okay. And it's okay if there's days where you're I'm not answering this email and I don't want to deal with this because it's hard. So please, I also just wanted to encourage you all to take care of yourselves, to rest, to do things that make you happy, and support yourself as you're supporting everybody who's doing time on LWOP. We need everybody here to be healthy and well and surrounded by love. Thank you all. That's all I wanted to say. Thank you, Daisy. I'll pass it back to you.
Thank you, Taina. And again, appreciate everybody for joining us tonight. We did record, we are recording tonight's meeting, so it'll be on our YouTube channel. If you want to rewatch any portion of the meeting, of course, we add timestamps. So we'll make sure that you have access to that through the YouTube account. As you all probably felt the same, it was very moving to hear from our friends in the Drop LWOP Coalition share their personal testimony. So again, appreciate you all for being here and for being willing to learn and engage with the work that they are doing. For folks who are joining us for the first time, we have a segment at the end of our program where we highlight a member of the month who we choose to honor as someone who has displayed extreme passion and devoted time to help us advance our work. I'm going to pass it over to Greg, who's going to introduce the member of the month for the month of September.
Thank you, Daisy. I was hoping we could tag team this announcement, so I'll get it started and then I'll pass it back to you. But for August, I think the month is, for August, for this month, we're highlighting an IJ member who's been very dedicated for a very long time, who, if you have an in-person event, you've seen this member, they show up, they bring their family, whether it's on Zoom, if it's in person, it's a cohort graduation, it's a mail night, if you name it, IJ, this is one of the first people that I think of who really shows up and supports our work. And Daisy, would you also like to say some nice things about the member before we announce it?
Yeah, I'd love to. So the member of the month that we are choosing to highlight tonight, someone that I consider to be a close friend of mine. I'm very thrilled that they've been part of our work and engaged in various committees and events that we host at Initiate Justice, and really been part of making sure that folks are informed about the action items and things that we need help on. And so for the member of the month, we wanted to honor none other than our outside organizer, Stephanie, who, yes, Stephanie, yes, you, Stephanie. We want to make sure that we honor you and all of your talents and gifts that you bring to our work. We are so appreciative of you and are so fortunate to call you an outside organizer. I don't want to put you on the spot, but if you want to tell folks who maybe are joining for the first time or share about why Initiate Justice, why you chose us, we'd love to hear it.
Oh my God. What's it going on? I'm speechless. Oh my God. Well, I choose to do this work because, you know, I have my family, my daughter's father who is incarcerated, is impacted, myself. And I choose to do it for everyone else's family because I know they will do it for my family as well. Oh my God. Thank you. Thank you.
Congratulations to Stephanie. We love you, and we're so lucky to have you be part of the Initiate Justice family. Yes, please share in the chat, folks, your congratulations. She works hard. She is a volunteer to the core and is very passionate about the work that we do. So we appreciate all of your contributions to Stephanie and for bringing your family to our events, you know, so we love that. For tonight's meeting, it will be uploaded for y'all if you want to rewatch the moving testimonies from tonight's presentation. But also just wanted to share that the fundraiser that we did tonight, we actually are up to $630 in the span of less than 2 hours. So just want to say congratulations to everybody. This work is not possible without your support, and this is just between word of mouth with the folks that are here tonight. So that link is something that you can share out with your friends, with your networks. Our goal is to reach $5,000. And so we're having our birthday party on September 18th. We shared the RSVP link, and I'll share it once again in the chat for you all. We'd love to see you there. But please continue to share that RSVP link in the or not the RSVP link, I'm sorry. Well, yes, that too, but the fundraising link for the Give Better account. So that way we can meet our goal. And I also wanted to uplift that since we're talking about birthdays, we want to acknowledge several of our team members who just celebrated birthdays and others who have upcoming birthdays in the upcoming weeks, including Initiate Justice as a whole. We are celebrating our birthday. But please join me in congratulating Antoinette and Ra for completing another spin around the sun. We are so lucky to have you all on our team and sharing your talents to help us reach our goal. We also want to make sure that we send early birthday celebrations to Taina, who helped us start this amazing organization that you are all now part of. And this work would not be possible without you, Taina. So we really appreciate you. So please extend all those birthdays, annotations for the Virgo Queens in the chat. They run this world. We're just living in it. You know, we are organized because of them. So we just appreciate all of you for that. And lastly, the calendar of events for folks, in case you all wanted to join any of our upcoming meetings. We are having our first committee meeting tomorrow, which is the Inside Organizing Committee at 5:30. And then others will be taking place next week. So the calendar of events is in the chat. We'll make sure to send that out in an email. And if you are brand new and wanting to learn more about what the committees are, you can actually sign up for a committee at the link that's in the chat. We do ask that if it's your first time, that you stay behind for a quick orientation. And we'll make sure we get you out of here in time so that you can enjoy the rest of your evening. But other than that, I think that is all. We'll see you all again in October. Hopefully by then we have good news as far as our bills being signed into law. So just keep your fingers crossed. Make sure you follow our work. And thank you all for tuning here tonight.